No idea what the date is. I can maybe figure it out. I think today's a Wednesday. And last Thursday was the 10th. So Friday was the 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th. I think today's the 17th. But oh wait, today's a Wednesday. I don't care. Anyways, it's August. I think it's the 16th. 2023. There's a Twitter video going around where people are showing a couple things. One, compilations of people in Canada complaining about inflation, cost of living, and difficulties. And another one is just people in first world countries put together showing the difficulties they're having paying for rent and food and stuff like that. And I'm torn. Which way, Western man? Do you trash these people? Do you give them advice? Or do you explain why? Or do you do all three? Government schools maths. So one, I'll just talk about the elephant in the room. Is all of those things are being recorded on a handheld device that records in 4K and instantly transmits to towers and satellites and is spit all over the world in moments. So let's stop pretending like you're poverty stricken. I get that it's all relative, but one of the women starts crying and she's like, and I'm just sick and tired of not being able to do the things I want to do. And it's like right there, the word want. So I'm sorry you're not getting all your wants. Maybe you should have made better decisions. Which sounds harsh. But a lot of these people made votes and moved to areas and asked for all this. So I'm really not going to have a pity party for them. They're trying to use my empathy as a weapon against me. So I'm not going to allow that. One thing that I will say is the United States in the 1970s, besides feminism, which was a way to get more income into the house, they also created this whole like when you're 18 you move out, you're an adult, you get your own house. That is another that was another thing that they did in order to try to generate more revenue. So if you have a full family unit at home, a mother taking care of the kids staying in the house, multi-generational, and the father working, you have one individual that you can tax, and then these people care and trust and work together with one another. So you have free daycare, free education, community building. They're away from more propaganda. So one thing that they wanted to do is to separate the family. So they needed to get the women out of the house and tell them, go get a job, you're being oppressed. And they told the kids at 18, you have to move out. So I'm first generation American, I'm a Greek, but we didn't do that exactly in my family, although it was pushed a little bit because of culture. My cousins and people and stuff like that with better relationships with their family were able to stay there into adulthood, save money, get a down payment, and be communal. And a lot of my family had multi-families where they had, 3 floors, 3 families living in one house. And then within those apartments, they had multi-generations, so the kids stayed there into the 20s. And you still see this in New York City with Italians and some other things. And then when you come to America, excuse me, you see a lot of Asian people, whether it be Eastern Asians or Southeast Asians, Southern Asians. They still do this as well. And it's a good way to save money and share communal property with one another. So you can still be an independent person if you know how to communicate well with individuals with different opinions under the same roof. In multifamilies, you're probably in the United States, it stands, once you get married and you want to have children, you probably want to get your own place. But then again, you want to make sure you're close enough so the parents can be daycare. So it'll be a judgment call based on how close the family can stay with the extra mouth. So right now, I think is look, just pragmatically what's going on is, I think what's going to happen is the United States is going to, the pain is going to intensify, and the middle class and the poor are going to have to go back to communal living, where the rich, the ultra rich won't see any changes, and upper middle class will probably downgrade to middle class type arrangements, smaller houses, smaller bedrooms, less land. As far as the why now, this is big government. This is communism. This is the equality that everybody's asking for. So what's hilarious is when they're promoting equality, the people that are in the schools, they just see, oh, that's a millionaire, and I want the millionaire to pay more taxes, so I'm brought up, and they want to. But what they can't see, because they're so short-sighted that they believe this stuff, is that it's on the global level. So the redistribution from the rich to the poorest people in the United States, most of them are still the 1% on the globe. So with the Federal Reserve redistribution of wealth, they are going to raise the inflation, the cost of living, and the expenses, so that your cost of living becomes relative to other people on the planet. So if they can't get you to naturally spend less in reserve to be as poor as the other person and donate, they'll just donate the money for you on excuse me, on your behalf via stolen money, via inflation. They'll give it to the ultra rich first, where it's got full buying power, and they can invest it into assets that don't depreciate as fast as the dollar is getting inflated. And then by the time it trickles down to you, it's worth less and less and less. And then this is going to balance their tax chattel globally a little bit easier for them. So if you're one of these people that are feeling the effects, you probably, if you voted for this, or if you like equality and you like these things and you're claiming corporations and all this stuff, there's probably nothing that I can say to you that's going to help you wake up and see this. It's just going to be harsh reality that changes you. You're the type of person that you're just pragmatic by inability. So it's not a bad thing. It's just who you are. It's part of evolution or whatever, and we need people like that. But it's not like you're not emotionally going to change. But if you're an individual that can see this stuff, you probably need to resituate yourself to a setup where you're either living in a compound with other libertarians or other men or family members or whatever it takes for you to succeed, setting up a business, getting in precious metals, cryptocurrencies that deflate rather than inflate. Whatever it takes for your success to take over.